the new Parkway Theater, where good food, diverse entertainment, and community create a place for everyone. For showtimes and special events, check out www.thenewparkway.com.
You are listening to High School 510, where sports is the lane, comedy is the pilot, and the sweet Jeeba is our jet fuel. Please sit back and enjoy the ride.
Are y'all? I can't record. Nobody asked me, and nobody clearly answered in the text thread what y'all doing. So I'm out.
No, I didn't see that text of Darius. I saw Pedro talking about warming his computer up like it's an old Chevy.
It is, and I'm pissed off.
I gotta go, man. Good luck with the show.
Where you going?
I got life.
It's only 4th of July. This is the first time we recorded on a holiday.
Hey, Darius, it's the first time I asked a black man to stay.
No, he lying. It ain't the first. He asked his wife boyfriend to stay, so that way he's like, man, can you stay and just talk to her so I can get ready for bed?
Thank you. Actually, Aaron's telling the truth.
All right, good luck with this.
You're the second person that black man asked to stay.
This sounds like the worst episode of the month.
Darius, since you're surprised that we are here in the morning, I just want to give you a morning welcome.
Morning, nigga.
There you go. That's what you get.
There we go. There we go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us at High Score 510 on the Instagram, the YouTube, and at Horcrux Hipster on the Twitter. And check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/High Score 510. You can also get AG3's NBA Top 10 on our Patreon page. Holla, 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 holla. And we are here with...
This is AG3 coming at you faster than one that flew over the cuckoo nest after listening to my 4th of July fireworks in my neighborhood go off on July 3rd. Like you would have thought it was the bicentennial. Losing my mind over here. Stress levels up. About to have hypertension. Already have hypertension. About to have a heart attack last night. Gave the dog some Benadryl. I had to give myself some too.
Damn. Well, here's your soundbite.
To begin the conversation, we're privileged to have a contribution from one of the great creative talents of our time, Lin-Manuel Miranda. May his beautiful words be an inspiration to us. Among the words he said and in the music, we'll make it right for you. If we lay a strong enough foundation, we'll pass it on to you and we'll give the world to you. Lin-Manuel and his father and the Hamilton singers whom we'll hear from said that they were all very honored to be asked to participate today.
Those were the great words from those fucking words.
Happy 4th of July, by the way.
You know what, CJ? Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll wait till introduction's over.
And we are here with.
Good morning. First time you ever see a Negro wake up this early, it's your friendly captain and your friendly truck driver, Captain P.Funk.
A new year brings hope for the future, new energy to face the tasks ahead of us, and a renewed promise to strengthen the foundations of our democracy. We are all stewards of the American experiment, working to pass down to our children and our grandchildren a more perfect union that treats all its citizens with fairness and equity. We should never take our rights and liberties for granted, and we must remain committed to finding a way forward together. That's what I wrote about in the song Dear Theodosia from Hamilton. I believe no challenge is worth abandoning our efforts to unite as Americans. We'll keep working, generation after generation, until we reach that someday.
And my name is Jared, aka DJartt. With 2 T's for a double dose of the tick, the D is silent, so it's just Jart.
Dear Theodosia, what to say to you?
What it say
Is
to
that
you?
Jason Derulo?
It look like him. What it say to you? What it say to you?
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
You sure that's not Jason Derulo? The only reason I know what I think he looked like is because
it's not Jason Derulo.
Reading a thing about whatever his Instagram
Oh, him
Instagram
being on
girl.
TikTok and selling everything, credit cards, Jack in the Box.
Well, how like she left him his Instagram, you know, the one that was with Antonio Brown, everybody, the one with the like caramel skin and like gray eyes, green eyes.
Okay.
I don't want to say her name, but I know her name. I just don't want to say it.
Oh, you don't want to give her attention?
Yeah, Jenna Fumes. Fine. Jenna Fumes. You know what Jenna Fumes is. Like, I guess they just had a baby.
Heard the name. I don't know who she is.
And then she came out. Look her up. She was with Antonio Brown for a minute. She left him because he couldn't stop cheating on her. So I guess Jason Derulo did the best thing. And like they just had a kid, and she was like, people disrespect you and think you're committed together and this and that. So I guess like he can't stop sleeping around. So she left him. And I was reading like her little post on it, man. People were flaming her up. I felt bad for her. Think about who you keep hooking up with.
Shout out to Jason Derulo and shout out to the Hamilton Singers. It is 4th of July, y'all. If we know one thing, Nancy Pelosi, the Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the Hamilton Singers inspire and, you know, really bring home the symbol of freedom in America.
When you came into the world, you cried, and it broke my heart.
That look like your headphones, Pedro.
I'm dedicated.
That's the biggest, softest voice Negro I ever seen in my life.
Domestic life was never quite my style. When you
like a Tongan Pedro.
I'm gonna tell you this. This one thing, along with Lin-Manuel Miranda, emasculated half the black, 1/4 of the black men in the world. It was like, how can we make black men look soft to the whole world? We'll put them on C-SPAN singing this Theodosia. You know what? This is worse than what the earlier settlers did to the Chinese immigrants when they brought them over and wrote all that policy that they couldn't bring women over, they couldn't interracially marry and all that. Mm-hmm. This is on that same level as that. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi.
Give a soft Catholic reigns to this much power. And this is how she keeps it, softening you up while she does stuff.
She definitely softened me up with this, Pedro. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I might have to eat a bunch of watermelon, take a couple blue diamonds, and have Lauren Boebert call me the N-word in the middle of the night. So anyway, I'm gonna get it back.
Hey, you know, they could probably do some rehabilitation with some General Butt Naked former soldiers. Like he got them in that church. No, just play them Dear Theodosia.
Yep, that'll take all the violence out of them real quick. Soften you up. You wouldn't have any testosterone left in your system.
They went from
that is the fighters who used to fight naked.
So is that why your nickname was General Butt Naked?
Yes, because I was naked, because I fought naked. Once I'm naked, no bullet can affect me. Once I'm naked, I could disappear.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
This worse than Roe v. Wade. You know, they overturned that in hopes that, you know, you saw the numbers dwindling, especially when we think about the population of people that tend to get the demographics of people that tend to get abortions. I guess a lot of Republicans, what they believe was that their numbers are dwindling, the whole replacement theory bullshit. And all they have to do is just keep playing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't play this around Duck because he got a newborn. I don't want him to fuck around and try to get the newborn to attach to his nipple.
Come on,
trying to get him to latch to his nipple after hearing this. This is soft shit.
This will make Andrew Caldwell wear a purse again.
I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse.
In news this week.
Just to let you know, someone just popped the firework at 10:38 out here.
Hey, this is why I'm up. I'm gonna tell you why I'm up. I got up late. My neighbor, I guess, got a hold of some professional fireworks. I should have known.
This shit's ridiculous, dude.
I should have known that was gonna happen.
I wish, you know, we celebrating 4th of July. I wish our forefathers would have had the foresight to fuck the right to bear arms, write some shit about motherfuckers not being able to pop fireworks.
You know, they use fireworks as distraction as the Redcoats entered town to distract them and then ambush them because they were using them guerrilla warfare tactics. They fairly learned from the Native Americans, and there was a fair transaction in that approach. Native darkies, teach us how to fight.
All fair love and hip hop.
How do you guys fight? Well, we usually just take turns standing in line and shooting at each other.
Yeah, we stand in line, and then the front row bends over while they reload, and the back row shoot, and we just take turns and just. You ever heard about the futures? This is a game called Pong, and that's how we fought war.
Exactly.
What is the training you use? Well, pretty much just stand up, try and shoot. The ball is very inaccurate. It's a round ball. It's inaccurate. It can go up and down. It's kind of like a knuckleball when you shoot it. So you don't know what you're going to hit. But then we crouch down on one knee and try and reload in less than 30 seconds. It's like, that's our training.
Yeah.
And then stand up and shoot inaccurately again.
Hey, every time y'all talk about this, it makes me mad how slavery's lost.
It's like,
how they get caught. How the hell did slaves get caught under them tactics?
They got sold out by one-eyed Charlie.
It was actually Guns, Germs, and Steel, a really interesting book by Jared Diamond. I think it was Jared Diamond. Basically, Western expansion or European expansion and colonization was aided by the fact that they were some of the first to have steel weaponry, which, changed the game. Yeah.
I heard about the steel, the nets, all that stuff. I heard
and then
about,
they had the guns. They
had the gunpowder.
And they stole the gunpowder from the Chinese. My Chinese brother sold us out.
Nah. See, they didn't know what they was using it for. They lied to the Chinese, like, we're gonna use it for fireworks to celebrate. And then they over here using it for war. And then you forgot the other part is that they sent someone who was a little darker in first, and it was Lin-Manuel Miranda's ancestry.
Exactly. There you go.
And he was like, "Oh, I got something great for you guys. I got all this stuff. We can trade with these people. Let's go.
Let's come out the shore."
Mm-hmm. I'm having a barbecue. We're singing a song called "Dear Theodosia." That sounds like the Pied Piper. You get a whole line of black men from Africa walking with you,
singing
with their dick shriveled in. There's a chick named Theodosia. We're gonna have. And she said, bring everybody.
She said, whatever BBC gets in the room can get a chance. That's terrible. In other news, Gavin Newsome, the governor of California, signed into law a bill repealing loitering related to possible prostitution as a charge that police can arrest people for. The provision in the state law previously allowed police to arrest those who, quote, delay or linger without lawful purpose, end quote, if it appears they were trying to engage in sex work, prostitution. Police can no longer use this charge, and those who have been convicted are able to petition the court for resentencing or potential dismissal of their charges and convictions. What do you guys think about that?
Wait, did you read it correctly in the beginning? Because the way you read it in the beginning made me think that he was signing so you can't do it.
No.
So is he signing so it's no longer illegal?
Bill, so it's no longer legal
prostitution
for police to say that you are loitering without a purpose, especially if it's regards they suspect you are engaging in sex work. So now you can loiter and not get arrested or charged for loitering, in particular with regards to suspicion of you being a sex worker or prostitution.
He would sign some shit like that because he don't live near no hood where there's prostitution around. Not that I have a problem with the prostitution. I can take the prostitution over the other shit.
Would you rather have prostitution or people stealing catalytic converters?
Prostitution. But the problem is he ain't doing shit about the catalytic converter either. It's just gonna be all down the drain. I need him. This motherfucker gonna be looking like the intro to New Jack City if he keeps signing the shit he's signing. Motherfuckers warming themselves up, burning trash in barrels. I don't know if you ever noticed the entrance New Jack City, you think they was in a third world country, but that's what this shit gonna look like. All of a sudden it cuts to Ice-T trying to make a drug deal in the middle of a traffic jam while standing in the middle of traffic with the crackhead. Don't make sense. Trying to get the crackhead to buy him kilos. Like, look at here, crackhead. He gonna smoke a kilo. I ain't gonna buy you a kilo. That's the dumbest movie ever.
Thank you.
It is. It's so like non-realistic.
It's over the top. It is also the Black people's anthem.
It is. It is. I feel like Gavin Newsome signed that into a bill. Like it got to be a black New Jack City Black people anthem. Makes sense. Show your kids. Show everybody.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
A black villain superhero movie for Black people, man.
Yeah. It's like it's so fake, like a superhero movie, but it's supposed to be realistic. It's like, hey man, I'm really starting to think that Infinity War could come true more than New Jack City.
Really, if you can't get it for $40, I really don't care.
Now, Pedro, would prostitution be considered regular sex?
Hey, look, yes, it wouldn't be because you're not going in there. You're not going to go in there and make love to a hooker. I hope not. Well, Aaron had.
I don't know. You know, Jared, he kissed prostitutes, and not high-end ones. I'm talking about street ones.
I used to suck dick for coke. I seen them.
Well, it's the Instagram models and basketball players overpaying for sex, and rappers overpaying for sex has ruined that industry for me. So I'm out the game when it comes to buying prostitution.
I didn't know you was in the game.
I never was. That's part of the joke here.
Wait, so what's worse though? So So the prostitution. So this is gonna open the door to where now, like Aaron, on that block down, a few blocks from where you was at, like where people used to all loiter and hang out, like they might reopen that. I know they closed it off.
It's already. Yeah, they didn't close shit off, Jared.
They
ain't
not close
shit about
dude.
that.
I tell you that they didn't close that.
That's my problem. He's wasting time with these bills, man. And those bills are to please the very far left. Like, oh man, good. He ain't gonna waste resources on prostitution. No, fuck that, man. Sign some bill to get more police officers here to beat some motherfuckers that stealing catalytic converters. That's what I want. I'm tired of this.
Just have a catalytic converter SWAT team that just like on the rooftops, just patrolling. Where's Batman when you that's what Batman can do.
Somebody. They just gotta beat ass and make me feel better. And that's the thing. See, that's the problem. Police don't beat ass no more. They shooting people. I didn't have a problem when they would just give someone a good proper beat down and then let them go. Charges dismissed. You got to beat down. That's good enough. But nah. Now the cops are shooting them, so now we don't get the proper beat down. So criminals going all out, robbing other criminals because we know they're robbing the poor because we know the police response isn't going to be big. Gavin Newsome, this is just a waste of time. It's another one of those things to look good, man. Those areas where we have the hole strolls, they weren't doing shit anyway. That's why they're called hole strolls. They already existed before he signed this shit. It's a waste of time.
I do think it's
fucking paper.
I think it's good that they're decriminalizing so cops can't press women or men working the street who are doing their thing.
Jared, they really don't.
I know they don't press them that much, but maybe
they made a whole episode of Cops off of that. It was making money back.
Well, that was in Florida. That was in
It's
Florida.
pressing
That's a
them.
different place. In California, they don't do shit already.
But I do agree. I think this actually is a decent way to like, because the whole movement in San Francisco is like trying to like not have the not hold minor offenses and people who have saying nonviolent minor offenses in jail. There's basically no bail or whatever, and they're letting people out, and people are getting mad because like motherfuckers are just getting out. And then like they were just arrested a few weeks ago and they commit another crime somewhere else. It's like
some of them are doing violent crimes. That's the thing. They're arresting them and then they're letting them off, and then the crimes get more violent.
It is interesting because it's part of the pendulum swinging where it's like, yeah, like if somebody's doing some crime, like, yeah, we don't want to like incarcerate them for the rest of their lives over a petty crime. But on the other hand, if you stealing my catalytic converter or you stealing something from me where I'm losing thousands of dollars and you sent me back thousands of dollars,
at least $4,000,
you sent me back, and I'm not somebody who's rich and super wealthy. I'm not somebody who can just be like, oh, chalk it up to the game. Like, I'm gonna be more pissed off. So like, let's, can we hire an advisory board? Maybe get Dave Chappelle's security crew as an advisory board on how to beat ass if you catch people stealing catalytic converters, and just have a couple like teams that just stroll the neighborhood, at all times of night and just watching out for motherfuckers stealing catalytic converters. You know how they have the gunshot sensors and on blocks, so they can
they don't do shit either.
And they should have a buzzsaw sensor on blocks and be like, man, we hear a buzzsaw, and like on this block and that block, triangulate, send a team over there. They SWAT over there. They catch you on there, and all of a sudden they turn your arm backwards and put a second forehead on your forehead and beat the shit out of you. That I'll be down with that.
And guess what? Even if they got the wrong person, you should have been out next to those cars at that time of night.
They got gunshot sensors on blocks.
They got gunshots. They're all over here in Oakland. And let me tell you, they just put an announcement out like 2 days ago. Like, oh man, there were this many gunshots in like 6 days, like 140 something in Oakland in 6 days. And I'm like, so what the fuck these things do? Like, they have no arrest tied to the shit, nothing. Oh man, we got 140, and I'm like 144. I've only heard about like this person get killed, this person get shot at, this person get killed. Only like 10 cases.
Hey, I don't want to do conspiracy, brother. Maybe they put the gunshot sensors in to make sure if you're in an urban neighborhood, see how many brothers are actually dying. And they're not going to do nothing about it. They just want to see how many Negroes are still left.
There's a cheaper way of going to that. You just go to a goddamn Johnson's mortuary. Just, hey, how many brothers you buried this week?
Oh, I'm hit. But my vest coat is dead. Yes, I'm alive.
In sports news, NBA free agency has hit. And it is a mess. People getting paid max deals. Some people getting traded. And Kevin Durant has officially requested a trade away from the Brooklyn Nets. There are rumors swirling about teams that he'd like to go to. Miami and Phoenix are two teams that have been labeled as the suitors with the best chance immediately to get Kevin Durant. Because
those are rumors. That was who he said.
No, that wasn't no rumor.
There's no rumor, Jared. That's what he said he wanted to go to. Those two teams.
Oh, well, Kevin Durant wants to go to one of those two teams if they can keep Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. Go figure. Or if they can keep everyone else other than DeAndre Ayton on the Suns. What do you guys think about KD and his requested trade? Are you guys disappointed in him? Do you think that this is once again him bailing on a situation, or is he fed up with certain individuals in New York?
You know what? This is the bet that he made. He was a free agent. He had the right to go wherever he wanted. And he attached himself to Kyrie Irving, who he should have known came with baggage, right? Mm-hmm. He attached himself and said they were looking to go together. Remember, the Knicks wanted him. Knicks made a great play for Kevin Durant. And he wanted to go to Knicks. Remember, that's the reason he was out there. And Kyrie convinced him, no, let's do this. And he was trying to get Kyrie to go with him because New York had the money for both. Kyrie convinced him, let's play for the Nets. This will be better. We don't have to deal with that organization. And I think Kyrie also knew we could bully this organization to doing what you want. Where the Knicks, they won't get bullied into making bad decisions. They'll just make them on their own. Whereas Brooklyn, he knew they could bully Sean Marks and the ownership with Cy and get them to do what he wants. I mean, it started with their coach pick. Think about the year before both of them showed up there. The team was young. It made the playoffs. They were growing. They had D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Karis LeVert. They had a nice little 3-guard combination.
And they had Jared Allen.
And they had Jared Allen. I was about to go there. They had Jared Allen. They had some forwards there. I forgot. They had a few others. They were in that Joe Harris.
There's coached by your assistant coach now.
Yep.
Atkins. He was that Kenny Atkins. Actually, Kenny Atkins was on his way up.
That team was on its way up. Yeah. So you figure that team would grow when it added these two players, right? And you're like, oh, this will help this team better because we added these two players. They had to trade D'Angelo Russell. Okay, makes sense, right? Money-wise, they got another pick out of it. Okay, good. They traded D'Angelo Russell. But then here's the great thing. It's like, oh, now we got Kyrie and Kevin Durant added this team. But the problem is they came in with more of this is what we want. So you know how, Jerry, you always be blaming like, well, LeBron built his teams how he wanted, right? And it's like, yeah, but he built them so he could win, not because this is my friends, right? I give LeBron that. He might fuck up every now and then with some building. He's going to get rid of the youth and all that. He might bring in somebody that used to be good is no longer good, but at least he's not bringing them in just because they're my friends, right? Mm-hmm. They brought in DeAndre Jordan with him, which we know DeAndre is kind of washed. He shouldn't have been started over Allen. He started over Allen. Didn't make sense. They traded Allen away. Yeah. And then they end up the same season, they trade Allen away and they trade away Karis LeVert. And what did they have to do? They had to cut DeAndre Jordan because he just wasn't doing anything. He's washed. This is the bet that he made. First year there, when Durant's rehabbing, they still had their coach. They still had a lot of those pieces. The team, after Kyrie goes down or just quits, does as usual, they make the playoffs, the bubble year. And what they do at the end of the year? Fire the coach, brought in more players they wanted. Team gets weaker. They lose depth, which they didn't have to because those guys were cheap too.
They lost all their picks.
They lose their picks. They lost their picks trading for James Harden, which was a year later. So then they go, oh, well, let's make this even better. Let's lose more debt to bring in James Harden. So they traded Jared Allen to Cleveland. They traded all these players, traded all their future picks. Houston basically had all their picks for the next 5-7 years. And they bring in James Harden. And even James Harden was tired of the shenanigans. So this is the bet that Kevin Durant built, right? He attached himself to Kyrie Irving. Now, I think it might be a little bit behind also with the Warriors winning. That hurts his little bit of his ego and his ethos. It's funny that the two teams he chose happen to be both teams that finished first in their conference.
Yeah, I was a little bit flabbergasted when he said, oh, I want to go to Miami, but I need y'all to keep Bam, Jimmy, and Kyle Lowry. And I was like, if you can keep Bam and Jimmy, that's all you need, number one. And that's all you should want to need. Kyle Lowry is not a cheap player. He's getting paid almost $30 million a year.
He's the second highest paid player on that team right now.
And he's done. He's
cooked. He's washed. He's still got some good basketball left in him, but he's a guy that you want basically spot starting or basically being your sixth man now. I think that's where he's at, where he can come in, run the second unit, still score for himself, play good D. But you can't have him playing bulk of minutes. He's 36 years old. He's
I thought it was crazy. I thought it was crazy during last year's trade rumors when they were talking about bring him to the Lakers or wherever he was going.
The Lakers,
Miami, the Miami, even the Miami thing. I'm like, y'all way overpaying. This dude is cooked. you're buying experience at this point, and
which is why I agree with Jarrett. He's been good coming off the bench. Imagine if Boston had him off the bench, right?
Yeah,
true point guard, like a floor general that could get the ball.
He could have finished games, right?
Yeah, that could finish the games out of Jason Taylor and Tatum and Brown's hands, and because those dudes are just dumb decision makers. You want them like, hey, if I set you up to come off a screen, that's when you score. I don't want you trying to initiate the offense. But I think Durant understands that. Like, he probably wants Kyle Lowry to stay there just because it's just another veteran that can help with, especially with the younger guys. Because
what younger guys? They're gonna have to sign a bunch of G League guys. Hey man, you want a 10-day contract? We can afford that.
That's true. They might have to trade. But I think the thing is why Durant said that is because he also knows that's not who he is. He doesn't want to be the guy to step in there, even though Jimmy could be that guy. But Jimmy's that guy as far as like getting you to play hard. Kyle Lowry is a higher basketball IQ guy. And Durant doesn't want to worry about that. He doesn't want to be that leader. He was happy to be around Draymond being that guy. He was happy when other players that guy. He realized that's not who he is. And the thing in Brooklyn, they didn't have the leadership. And Durant doesn't want to do that. Durant he wants to go out there and just ball and shoot. And he's a good IQ. Basketball IQ is good, but he's not a leader in that way. Right?
He's not an alpha in that way.
He's an alpha. He's an alpha in his action.
He's not a rah-rah guy.
He's a hooper. When I look at Durant, when I look at Durant's game, he's probably the best hooper. What I mean by hooper, I mean a guy who could go to the playground, to the NBA, to the YMCA and just be the best player, not because of just his height and everything. Let's say everybody his height goes to these places just because his game is that it transfers to all of those places, right? The way he plays like his game. He has a street ball game, he has a YMCA game, he has an Equinox game, and he has an NBA game, right?
Yeah,
he has
ain't got no goddamn hoop court. Bro.
The one in Berkeley don't. The rest of them do. The ones in LA do. And so
saggy ball ass motherfuckers out there. Shooting,
no, the ones in LA, you get all the former NBA players and former NFL players play. That's where they go. That's what they do. That's when you see videos of like not Ben Simmons, but other people playing like during their summer times, and they're usually at Equinox in LA. It's like known. Shannon Sharp talks about it all the time. It's like known thing. He talks about like Ron Artest. That's why they always meet up and all these former athletes of different sports get their talk in. They play hoop at Equinox in LA.
Okay.
Ron Artest is always up there. It's one of those things. It used to be UCLA. UCLA summertime used to be the place. Right. Now it's the Equinox, because then they don't have to worry about fans. They don't have to worry about all that shit. They just go and get their hoop on, get their workout on, see some beautiful women wearing Lululemon and keep moving. That's why
he's the person you don't mind to play AAU ball.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
because he can get all the shots.
Yeah, because he's 7 feet tall and he has a skill of a guard as a 7 foot.
That's basically what it is.
I think for KD, it's important that he settles on a place where he's gonna, I think he's one of those players kind of like Curry, where he can go to a place like he doesn't need to be the vocal leader and the rah-rah guy, but he can just go out there, like you said, and hoop and play good quality, smart basketball. And he's gone and he's chosen teams, or he chose a team after the Warriors. He chose a Robin or a 1A and 1B that were both just like ball dominant guys who play the game in a way where the ball can't go around enough for all of them.
No, hey, Garrett, this was going to work. There was one game.
They almost beat the Bucks last year. They were close. His toe was on that line.
It could work. It was just all the bullshit.
Yeah, it's all the bullshit. The other bullshit. It's the stuff on the outside. It wasn't the ball game. Remember, they walked.
Yeah, it's the stuff on the outside, and then they got rid of.
But then they got swept in the first round
because they weren't deep. They weren't deep.
Yeah,
and that team had no. That team wasn't even practicing the game.
No, it's not good. It's. He chose a situation where he allowed himself to, I think he allowed Kyrie to woo him too much. And it's like, Kyrie's your friend. Kyrie's going to say whatever he wants to try and get you to do what he wants. And he wants to play with you because he realized he don't want to go back to LeBron, but now he's all, I'll go back to LeBron now. But he wanted to be his own man. Kyrie realized how hard it was. I don't think he's the type of leader that inspires his teammates because he's about it. He's about himself. He's a conscientious, smart person that is very much an individualist.
He's a conscientious fairy tale believer.
He's very individualist in his core, and that's fine if he wants to be that. But it's really hard to translate that into team sports where you got to put it on the line for your teammates and your brothers. And he doesn't do that. He didn't do it in Boston, and then he didn't do it in Brooklyn. So
he didn't do it in Cleveland. Who brought him to his
when he was in
But
Cleveland,
the thing is, he didn't choose Cleveland. He was there already, and
I'm saying I'm talking about his game.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about his game.
But that was LeBron's team. I know that was just LeBron's team, and he was young before LeBron got there. So I don't.
It became LeBron's team. It was his team. They were drafting his team, and he couldn't. But the problem is he doesn't make anyone better, which is fine. His game is still tight. He doesn't make anyone better, but I don't think Durant cared about that. Durant was like, I'm a ball. All I need is 12, 15 shots. Durant reminds me a lot of Larry Bird and how he plays, right? Not that take away that athletic ability, but if you look at the numbers, they're pretty similar, right? We're talking about really high efficiency guys who don't need to have the ball in their hands a lot, but still get their numbers, still rebound. But a lot of people don't know Bird finished his career with over 10 rebounds a game. Not a lot of people finish with that number. That's a small forward, right? Bird was the first 50, 40, 90 guy in the league, right? First one was Larry Bird. And that's like the Kevin Durant game where you give me 15 shots, you got 30 points, right? You give me 12 shots, you have 28 to 35, right? Like I don't need to have the ball in my hand constantly at the end. I could catch and shoot. I could come off screens. I could drive. I could do all of that, right? And that's what Durant game is. So he didn't mind Kyrie. In fact, for him, he was like, this is better. I'm not getting beat up because they're gonna put attention on him. He could do his dancing. He could beat everybody in the league one-on-one. So they're gonna have to put help on them. That's gonna free me up more. Durant doesn't care about ball hog. He doesn't care. I don't think his problem wasn't Westbrook's domination of the ball. It was when Westbrook became so inefficient and would just be turnover prone and do stupid things. He was done with that. Even though Durant disappeared against the Warriors in his last games in Oklahoma.
I know, but I get that. But at the same time, it's not the same thing that they were doing in the Golden State
with the Warriors. No,
not the same style of play where everyone is kind of playing that way, and everyone is creating off of ball movement or potential ball movement, off ball movement, way more than what.
But think about it, he got tired of that after a while, right?
No, his
argument was in the playoffs. You got to be able to beat someone one-on-one. That was what Steve Kerr always said.
That was argument. And they were fine. They beat people one-on-one. He took over the finals.
Well, he did,
but he went to a place where it obviously didn't work out. It was been a clusterfuck, man. They had a good chance last year. It was a drama-filled shit show this year. It was.
Well, his quote was. Did you see his quote? His Twitter quote was on Friday, I believe, when he said, "Ask anyone who's been in the gym with me the last 3 years that I didn't care or put in the work." No, he puts in the work. It wasn't.
I never said he didn't put in the work. Nobody has said that here. I'm not saying anything like that. I don't question KD's drive to want to win. I question, like you said, his decision making and going to play with all his friends who are guys that are individualists. One of his friends, and they brought in James Harden, who played a very individual. Even though he led the league in assists,
James Harden was leading the league in assists.
I know that. But James Harden, the way he leads the league in assists is he dominates the ball. And he creates a mismatch, comes off a screen, gets you to commit, and then throws a little dime pass.
But Durant didn't have a problem with that either, though.
But it didn't work. The proof is in the pudding. It's not about potentially this guy can work and this guy can work. It didn't work because
when Kyrie
they weren't playing
it was him and Durant,
team style. Regardless,
Jared, it was winning. Don't forget the first year worked. They got hurt. Remember, James Harden got hurt. He popped his hamstring, and he was.
Well, that was because he also sat out entire training camp because he was trying to be toxic to leave.
And that's outside the court. I'm saying
that type of culture, guys. Those culture guys are not good for a team, especially if you're getting rid of any other pieces that can be supportive players. It just doesn't work.
Y'all saying the same thing.
They're saying the same thing. But Jared wants to say, like, I agree. It didn't work. It didn't work, and there's no excuses. But my thing is where we're different, Pedro, is this. I believe it didn't work because of all the outside the court shit. They found a way to make it work on the court easily.
No, that's what I said.
If all three of them would have stayed healthy and played, they easily dominated. Maybe even 2 years.
All healthy and got swept. Well, I guess Ben Simmons didn't play. So
they weren't healthy this year. Kyrie wasn't healthy.
That wasn't this year. I was talking about the prior year.
How did Kyrie get hurt? He played like 14 games leading into the playoffs, bro. What are you talking about? Kyrie was healthy. KD was healthy. They're both healthy. He was just tired of the bullshit and carrying the thing.
But I'm saying when all three of them were there.
Yeah,
but that was still part of the after court shit. Think about how much we kept saying in that series. How much it was kept reporting. The Nets report, Ben Simmons will play game 3. I agree. I'm just saying.
A team of all mental midgets.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
In this week's episode, we are without a Cuddy Corner shout-out due to user error by DJartt. Unfortunately, he forgot to press record on the meeting. So, without further ado, we present to you AG3's NBA Top 10 All-Time List.
Enjoy the title. Enjoy the Steph Curry balled out. He looked great. He was amazing. It was fun to watch. Even if you're not a Word fan, it was fun to watch. But don't say crazy shit now. That's my only argument. So at number 1, I got Kareem. Number 2, Jordan. Number 3, Bron. Number 4, Magic. Number 5 is Bill Russell. 6, Larry Bird. 7, Wilt Chamberlain after doing a lot of digging. Number 8, Shaquille O'Neal. Kobe Bryant at 9. And Tim Duncan at 10. So Steph Curry did not make my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, he's close. I think he might be around 12.
I can totally see all of that.
12 or 13, Jared. I thought I was going to be able to put him in the top 10, but after doing all my research and digging, I couldn't. Kareem's number 1 because he was a 6-time NBA champion, 6-time finals MVP. 6 times MVP, 2 times final MVP. To me, finals MVP, basically the same award. Finals meant you did at a high level where you're at. MVP meant you just did it for a whole year. You showed up and you were consistent and played great the whole year. That's why I got Kareem over Jordan. Just total 8 MVPs, even though Jordan had 5 MVPs and 6 finals MVP, but Kareem was just dominate. He was just dominating. It's the reason he was the all-time scoring leader. He would have probably been the all-time blocks leader. They didn't keep it the first 4 years. Okay, so let me start breaking down why Steph Curry isn't the all-time greatest point guard. Magic Johnson, 5-time NBA champion.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was
3-time MVP, 3-time MVP, 3 times Finals MVP. That gives him a total of 6 MVPs. 9-time All-NBA first team. Career 19 and a half points, 11 assists. We all know Magic just showed up in closeout games. He's had triple doubles in closeout games, even games where they need to win game 6 to make it to a game 7, 22-19 and 88, 13 and 13 with four steals and 2 blocks at 82. The age of 20, Magic Johnson's jump center, game 6 against Philadelphia, 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. 3 steals and 1 block.
Can I say something about that Philadelphia finals, though?
Yeah.
Philadelphia played so sloppy.
I
could have had 9 steals.
They turned the ball over there a lot, but Magic still had to go out there and do it. Yeah. Bill Russell speaks for himself. However many champions, 11 titles, 17 years, top 4 greatest defensive players all time, career average 24 rebounds, 17 points, 28 rebounds, Larry Bird. I know a lot of people argue against Larry Bird. I actually watched a couple of Larry Bird games today. I watched 2 final games, the ones in which they won in 86, and I watched one in which they lost. People don't know the 87 finals against the Lakers. That game where Magic hit the hook shot, right before that play, the Lakers scored. The Celtics had the ball and they were down, right? Byron Scott told this story. The Lakers came out. We were trying to get set up. We were talking about who got who. And Larry Bird just yells out, guys, to all the Laker players, guys, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to curl around here. I'm going to run over there. And then I'm going to come to the corner and I'm going to shoot that shot. And they ain't a damn thing you could do about it, right? They run the play, do exactly that shit. That motherfucking Larry Bird hits the 3. And Byron Scott was like, we all just looked at each other like he told us he was going to do it. He did exactly what he said. He told us he was going to do it and did it. Larry Bird was a bad man. I know it's hard for you youngsters, people born in 86, 83, 84, didn't get to see him. The man was a bad man. He made every shot. He talked shit, your best shit talking NBA and backed it up. Rebound, he was a playmaker. That guy, here's the crazy thing. He only averaged less than 2 3-point attempts for a game. He's known as like a great shooter. He didn't shoot them and he made them. Wilt Chamberlain speaks for himself, most dominant player. See, this is where it got tricky. I thought Shaq was going to be lower on my list, but I had to put Shaq at 8 because he was just the most dominant player all time. But he doesn't get enough credit for the shit he does. One game in the finals, 2001, 28, 20, 9, and 8 blocks against Dikembe Mutombo, defensive player. He almost had a quadruple double. When I was just looking up his stats, he had so many 40-point games in the finals. It was ridiculous. 40 points and 20 rebound games. He more than probably any other player had 40-point game. Number 9 was Kobe. I had to put him above Tim Duncan. You know, the whole Mamba mentality, even though he didn't have it in that against the Phoenix that year, game 7. But he was just a bad man. He was going to get a shot.
That's where you should put Stephen Curry because his light-skinned and his 3-point shot.
And he's the greatest light-skinned man alive. You should put him right there.
I couldn't put Steph Curry. I couldn't put him above Tim Duncan or Kobe Bryant. I couldn't get him in the top 10. And
I can see him getting past Tim Duncan, though.
Maybe, yeah. He's not done yet. Maybe.
That's what I said. The story's not written.
But he's still at 12.
Yeah.
He might still got a couple other people to pass.
Well, that's why I said it the way I said it.
All right. So Aaron, I got a question
question for you. Where is a player like Dirk Nowitzki for you?
Dirk Nowitzki, for
is he
me,
top 20 or is he top
I hadn't
30?
made it there yet, but I don't think he's been the top 20. I think he's top 30, maybe around 30-ish. I don't think he's going to make it to the top 20 because there's 20 other players better than him. A couple of them don't have titles, but that's how much they were better than
And he was a defensive liability, unlike
good.
Steph Curry.
Yeah. If you think about come on, man. Everybody in my top 10 list have either made a bunch of all defensive teams. Shaq made 4 all defensive teams, right? Or have like 1 defensive player of the year. The worst defender is probably Larry Bird, who still wasn't like a slouch. He wasn't great, but he wasn't a slouch.
Would he have been able to hang defensively in this day and age, though? Offensively,
I don't like saying that,
offensively, I feel like he would have been fine offensively, but defensively, with players who can, do more with their hand on the ball and get burst, would he become a lot?
It's hard to say. I mean, like this is what I want to say.
But no, I agree. Larry Bird, I don't question Larry
would have done with hand checking.
I don't question Larry Bird. I don't question Larry Bird. I think Steph Curry, his catch and shooting numbers dispel the fact that he wouldn't be able to play in a league where he could just catch and shoot.
No, I'm not saying he wouldn't be good, but how would it be? How good would his average be? How good would that be with the way when they jump the screens? They jump the screens, especially.
Here's another thing.
They hip check you.
Here's something that's interesting. If Steph Curry makes the top 10, he will be one of players, or maybe Larry Bird will be the other one, that can be offensively just as impactful with the ball in his hands as he is without the ball in his hands, right? Most of those other guys are ball dominant guys in the top 10. Everyone else that
but they're ball dominant. There's a couple of guys that are playmakers
because they have an elite skill set. Yeah, no, they can be playmakers too.
Playmakers, but Steph Curry's not the playmaker, Magic or Larry Bird.
Look, I always go back to this when you say that with Larry Bird or Steph Curry, would they be the player they was if you switch them? I go with Reggie Miller because look, the game right now is patterned after what Reggie Miller did, and he didn't take a bunch. He didn't take 20 3-point shots a game.
Well, but they don't use screens.
Green light, yeah.
But Jared, I say, and you forgot Bill Russell. Bill Russell's a guy that dominated without being a ball dominant person and having to score.
But Bill Russell didn't have a high scoring average. He wasn't a scorer. He's the one guy on this list that's not really a scorer. Everyone else on the list is a scorer.
The ball dominant player, Dwight Howard. You got them to a
Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard got screwed over.
With no offensive
no. The thing about
game at all.
Dwight Howard peaked and plateaued in his skill set, but his athleticism made up for it. And then as he aged and people expected him to take the next step, he never did. He got a lot of years balling. A lot of alley-oops and dunks. Yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying Dwight Howard he got them to a finals because he was the dude. Him and he
job is to get the ball in the hole, Jared. He got the ball in the hole. You're talking about, he dunked it though. That don't count as much.
I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm just saying is that like if you can dunk and if you can say, hey, I'm gonna get 25% of my points from dunks, and you're gonna get 0.8%. Like the easiest way to score is a dunk, right? So if I can dunk the ball and I can, it is. It literally is.
Oh, the whole people were there, Jared.
Jared act like nobody. When you go for dunk, everybody just. Hey, Jared, I don't know if you watched a lot of basketball.
How many people? All right, my question is,
move out the way when you.
How many people were swatting? How many people were swatting Shaq shit? How many people were swatting Shaq shit when Shaq was young in his prime dunking?
They went up to try to get it though.
No. How many people were swatting this shit and throwing this shit? How many people?
I'm gonna say Elijah did. And
maybe a little bit, but but how many people were stopping him? Nobody was stopping him on a regular basis.
Defense on him before.
Hold on, let me finish my point.
Bodying them.
Let me finish my point. Same thing with Dwight Howard. He was most athletic. He was the biggest, most athletic dude on the court. So he was dunking the ball and getting a quarter or more of his points from dunking, which is the highest percentage, right? So I'm gonna say like this is where the height and the skill set comes into play. Like what are we? How are we grading these players to put them in your top 10? Yeah. Is it just about physical impact? No. Listen, because this is what nobody's. I'm thinking on this level. Y'all ain't even thinking. Like I got a Marvel card. I'm looking at all the strengths.
I'm thinking on exactly on the same level you thinking on.
Steph Curry's scoring is harder to do than anybody else's, and that's what I'm saying. Like that should hold some weight.
But he's only
6'3".
You show up to the game the way you are. Yes. You can't control it. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be 7 foot today, man. I'm going straight to the hole.
I identify as a 7 foot. You go slob in, man.
And Jared, and here's another part to what Brandon said. There's people nowadays that say Steph Curry has unbelievable range. The way they're not allowed to play defense is easier for him to score now than it was for them in the 90s, who were big and huge, who took a pounding. Shaq took a pounding in there. Dwight Howard took a pounding. They had to be strong. That was not easy. They still got fucking beat down.
That's what I'm saying, Jared.
You just gave Steph Curry credit for going to the well against Boston, saying he got kind of beat up, but he kept doing it. These fools took a pounding every fucking play in the key, man, when they touched the ball. Not one every time. It's like there's a reason there's offensive linemen, more offensive linemen and defensive linemen in the NFL Hall of Fame. Because they realize these fools take a pounding, man. These fools are the backbone.
Oh, now you want to talk about who's taking a pounding, but you don't want to talk about height. Oh, I don't care about the pounding. Who cares about the height?
Jared,
Jared, don't mean nothing.
Jared, you just said it.
I'm just using your own
argument. How many 7-footers in the league that can't find the rim? I watched so many 7-footers this year, brick layups.
Shout out to Kevon Looney.
But when you are athletic enough just to dunk, Kevon Looney is 6'10". When you can just dunk it, you don't have to worry about having touch. You don't have to worry about touch.
300 pounds and he's missing layups.
Kevon Looney was actually making a lot of layups. What are you talking about?
Well, and in the final, once they yelled at him, he got in his ass.
No, because they weren't. They didn't play him enough in that first. That third game 3. What?
Is it more difficult for a big man to guard a point guard, or is it for a point guard to guard a big?
A point guard to guard a big?
Yeah.
The game is geared towards being bigger and taller, like I said earlier. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But I would argue Jokic trying to guard Steph Curry is way more difficult than Curry trying to guard Jokic.
Put the ball through this hoop. You can either lay it in with your hand grabbing through the hoop to get your receipt that you got it through the hoop, or you can throw it from 30 feet away and hope that it lands in that little hoop from all the way over there. What's going to be easier? What are you talking about?
Come on,
oh, you guys are saying like Steph Curry don't got a hope, so that he is that good. He top 10 good then, huh? You got to be top 10 good to say, ain't no hope when Steph Curry shoot the ball.
I hope you fanboying for just a show.
This is pretty incredible, Jared.
You guys,
as a Warriors fan and a Steph Curry fan, you make me not want to say anything nice about him, because you're like, oh man, he's the greatest of all time.
No, but I also
by the way, he does it all by being born and being 6'3". Like what? Let's go.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous.
No, he had to fit a certain criteria. He didn't get into Sam's Club without his membership card. He had to have that requisite height. Okay, like I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to get y'all to realize.
You act like he ain't got no genetics.
The game. Like I know that. I didn't say that. I did not. I never said anything about genetics or his dad playing. I never said any of that. You're using other people's words to argue with me. That's something I never said. You don't like people misusing your words, Aaron. I never even said shit like that. So you can't even use that against me. Secondarily, the game is geared. The hoop is taller than everyone else. The advantage is, hey, if I have a closer reach to the hoop and I don't have to do as much to get the ball up into that hoop, I have an advantage. That's literally what it is. So if you guys continue to spell that advantage of being a certain height and bigger as not being an advantage and something that's not even considering it when you evaluate what Steph Curry is doing, then you guys aren't using the proper metrics. You guys are ignoring something that is very valuable and important.
It's not the
skill of the basketball player. Who is that basketball player? And I said
it's
this
not
year
an advantage if you can't.
I said this year. No, I said this year. The way he played this year, and I didn't say his whole career. This year was top 10 worthy to me. That's what I said. And I believe that.
I'm just going to say Bol next year, MVP. Fall next year.
Does Steph Curry deserve to be in the top 10 for having 1 year of top 10 play ability? No, I will not say that, Aaron.
James Wiseman.
Bol is not athletic, Brandon, but he's 7'8", and he made it and gets paid millions of dollars to not play because what's one thing you can't teach, Aaron?
Yeah. He's a rookie sliding scale. He's not a
Aaron, what's one thing you can't teach?
Can't teach height.
Okay, thank you. So yes, he's playing a game amongst other giants, and he is a giant relative to regular people.
If my dad would have been an NBA player and I had access to real basketball courts and all that, who knows how far I would. I'm about to make D2.
I don't think y'all looking at it. I'm looking at it from a couple other lenses on it that I don't think y'all are getting, and that's fine. That's fair.
Fanboy, Jay, you're fanboy. You know what? Go ahead. Call up your boys, Pal and Kevin Brown and Fanboy. You guys can fanboy together.
Y'all just jealous.
I'll bring the lube.
Y'all just jealous because Steph Curry is the most acclaimed, regal, he's the best light-skinned brother ever created. Isn't that right, Pedro? That's what Pedro crowned him. Greatest light-skinned brother ever.
Hey, I enjoyed Steph Curry in college. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy watching him now.
Yeah, he got 4 volleyball players to the NCAA tournament. It was him and 4 volleyball players who just set screens on the perimeter.
Stop acting like you watch more than just the tournament watching Steph Curry.
He had 4 volleyball players playing basketball with him.
No, Larry Bird, his team was better than what Larry Bird took to the NCAA title game. I tell you this, I watch a lot of college basketball.
Indiana's a hotbed of basketball, so all those guys.
Indiana State, Jerry.
It doesn't matter. No. The state of Indiana is a hotbed. No. I'm not talking about. No, I'm not talking about the college. I'm talking about the state of Indiana.
Yes,
Indiana
it
State.
is a
but the
hotbed.
state, yes,
and
and
guess what?
basketball
They
is
didn't have
king out
none of
there.
them, and they had none of them.
I'm not arguing Larry Bird. I'm saying he's coming for Tim Duncan. He's coming for Tim Duncan.
The best thing I ever wore.
6'4".
They argue 4 guys
for Tim Duncan.
Yeah. They are. I like what one writer said about Larry Bird's college team. They said he played with 4 guys that you wouldn't even pick up at a pickup game at the YMCA.
That's a lie.
Steph Curry still had players on his team. He had a 6'10", 6'9" player.
Yeah, Jared.
I seen him playing on the U.S. volleyball team, bruh.
How do you factor in this luxury tax situation where they have the highest payroll?
And that's another thing. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Thank you, Brandon. Because I wrote that down and I forgot to talk, and I wanted to talk about that.
I got some for that. They're all veterans. They're all 10 years in the league. Their salaries aren't going down the way that
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, no.
But how do you can't keep the other players?
What?
They paid $174 million luxury tax.
They traded.
That's more than some teams' payroll.
They traded for Andrew Wiggins' bad contract. Somebody thought Andrew Wiggins' contract was a terrible contract, and they at least made it. They salvaged it. Right?
It still is.
They salvaged it. They salvaged it. It was worth it.
$174 million. That's the payroll. That's the salary.
Yeah, because they're veteran. They're able to keep 3 players
double the amount.
They're all telling me they pay
how do you factor
high 20s, high 30s,
and when I found that out, I was like, hold on, that's like because the commissioner was trying to sit there and blow up the Warriors being built through the draft, and I'm like, yes, you got 4 veteran players, right? I give you that, but let's be real. Let's be real. Steph Curry's making 40-something million. Draymond's 20-something, and Clay's low 30, really low 30, right? He's like barely 30.
So
that don't equal 170 million.
They should take pay cuts. Then is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying
they already had an unproven team.
My problem ain't with the work.
You can't argue that all of a sudden the highest. They had an unproven team. They had an unproven team.
Can I say this, Jared? Let me finish. Like you always say, let me finish.
You can't have championship pedigree and unproven team. You can't have both.
They have their main core and then a bunch of role players.
Jared, let me say this. My problem ain't with the Warriors. It was the NBA not having a hard cap. A hard cap, then yes, you could pay your veterans.
And they got to get rid of all those accelerators and all that Supermax and all that other bullshit. They got to get rid of all that.
Now you've heard me argue.
I'm not, but you got to get rid of all that shit.
My problem ain't the Warriors.
Their salaries keep going up. That's what the NBA players union and NBA negotiated, bro.
You know what the problem is? So the NBA, when it used to have more of a hard cap, they didn't have a cap on player salary. The problem was small market teams were losing their players after they reached free agency. So they thought, oh, we got a perfect solution. We're gonna not make a hard cap. We're gonna cap player salary, and then we're gonna make it. The only way you can make more money is if you stay with your team, right? Count on teams trading players and trading contracts to get out of the contracts and things like that. They were going off of what the old NBA was. So my problem is with the Warriors. It isn't what the Warriors did. They did what they had to do, but you do have to bring out, this is a little bit of a New York Yankees situation here, Jared. Like Joe Lacob sit there and talk about, and Bob Myers, and they sit there and they talk about, oh man, we're ahead of the curve. No, dude. You pulled a Steinbrenner. You're able to keep players. You can keep a better bench because of your lack of salary. Because of their rich money. Jared, they're not all unproven, and they make money. Man.
Yeah, Otto Porter. Otto Porter just came off a $75 million contract.
Why did he not get re-signed by his old team? What? Hold on. Why did he not get re-signed by the
Ricky's been unproven?
Why would the Timberwolves be like, oh, we'll take D'Angelo Russell, who's also unproven and is immature as fuck? Okay,
because they were trying to keep Karl Anthony Towns. That's why they traded for him. They traded for his best friend.
And then they got Jordan Poole. You got Gary Payton, who had been on the team, off a team, had tried out for other teams. Nobody wanted him. Played a big pivotal role. They got draft picks. Kuminga barely played in the playoff, in the finals. Moody barely played in the finals.
They still got 174 million, Jared, over the cap.
I get that. Yeah, because luxury tax is like an accelerator. So like, yeah, it's a certain amount over, but they gotta pay. They gotta pay, so it blows up. Yes, it blows up. Yes, that's why it blows up.
$1 per $1 spent.
So you double it. So 80 million.
It doesn't double. It's $1 over the cap. $8 spent over.
Because if they were having a hard cap,
that's doubling. $1 for every dollar. It's another dollar. So you're doubling as it goes up. As you go past that line,
a smaller market team,
you double whatever you're overpaying. So 174 is not the real number. It's 80 something.
I
get that. That's still a lot.
And it's not just smaller market. It's also having these really ridiculously rich owners. Like what it hurts is the family-owned teams. When you sell the team to the Steve Ballmers.
I get that. But also, like, here's the curse of: do you want it to be strictly like football? Which is like that.
Yes,
that's
I
what
do.
Okay,
yes,
then just say I want to be strictly like football, where you're never going to keep. But the NBA was not built off football free agency style. That's not how you do it. That's not how you get legacies on players. That's how you build the franchise's name. That's the whole point. They don't want that. They want you to keep your original players. You want Magic going and be like, man, I can make more money to leave and go play here because y'all can't offer because of hard cap. You want Magic to be gone and only play his first 4 years in the league with them? No,
do you realize Shaq signed as a free agent and Kobe got traded or drafted? Like they were.
Yeah. No.
Like players
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's certain players who make their names with teams. Yes, there's some players who, especially once free agency really started kicking off and big money was being able to be offered to leave. Yeah, people leave. But they still want to go back to but the Lakers also people still want to play in LA, Aaron. So don't act like all of a sudden, man, Lakers. Let's not get into the whole thing about how they
Lakers are dysfunctional. They always
now you're trying to downplay the Lakers. Okay, now you're gonna try to downplay the Lakers. Okay,
no.
Okay.
Did you just hear
LA
me
is
say
a destination. No, you guys always have
always
that
been
advantage.
Dysfunctional.
You have that as an advantage. I don't
So
want to hear about the
LA is
luxury
a better
tax.
place than the Bay Area. Is that what you're trying to say?
LA is the glitz and the glam, bad bitches, movies. You're saying media. Yes, it's a better place if you want to build your brand and you want to be a star. That's where people want to go if they want to be a star. You don't go to the fucking San Francisco to say I want to build my star.
That's not what you told me when Kevin Durant came over.
I said no. Brandon said that he wanted to get into that e-commerce money, which he did.
That's what I'm saying.
He's one of the main. Those fools were all investing in Uber, all that shit. They made all those programs, all them apps. They was putting big money in that shit.
Man, he didn't put shit into that. All he wanted to do was win the title.
Nope. He's an investor. He invested hell of money.
You can invest your money from a fucking mile away.
No, but he can drive down to Silicon Valley,
2,000 miles away.
People.
He did not drive down to Silicon Valley. That's how that shit works.
One of the driver of the Subarus, right?
Yeah, Jared, that's not how that shit works.
Whatever. All right, well, let's get to Cuddy Corner shots.
Right,
Pedro, you have something you want to say, Pedro? Hold on. Go ahead, Brandon.
No.
All right, Brandon.
Cool.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, no, y'all good, man. I think we just all agree, Jared. We're gonna let you have your weekend. You got about one more week in this whole Steph Curry's.
Phase one, baby, yeah.
We gotta let this happen. This is getting out of hand.
Adrian Peterson has signed up to fight Le'Veon Bell in a boxing match. Who's fallen further from grace, AP or Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon Bell. Easy. That's easy. Le'Veon Bell.
Is that what that is? Falling from grace or falling from, or just getting old? I mean,
no. Le'Veon Bell didn't get old. Le'Veon Bell made stupid. You know what? This flows into our Kevin Durant of bad decisions, right? One thing I hate in life is I hate when I make a bad decision. When I look back at it, and I don't have a lot of regret, but I have a lot of like, man, I got to make a better decision than that. It makes me really try to concentrate my next few decisions of that level, whatever level that is, try to make a better one. Le'Veon Bell made a bad decision when he sat out that year. Took his value for more than I think the league was willing to give him, and the more that in Pittsburgh, especially a place he was in, that's like, dude, just honor your contract and we'll pay you after that year. but he didn't want to do it. And he set out his last year to become a free agent, and it bit him in the ass. And he lost money. He didn't make that year away. Didn't help him either. NFL is one of those type of things that you ever notice, no matter what your position is, whenever someone comes back after like a year away, and not because of injury, but because they just like either retired, like Gronk. Gronk, yes, he made some clutch catches with Brady, but he still didn't look the same, right? Whenever someone really steps out, that 1 year away makes a huge difference. It's not easy, and especially for a running back. And so he hit rock bottom. Like Adrian Peterson is old and retired, and just
he was still signing contracts this past season.
He is. He's still in shape. I think Adrian Peterson is one of those. He's kind of like Walter Payton. When Walter Payton retired, he couldn't figure out what to do next. You know, you're NFL. You go from playing football in college, where your days are made up. Your days are so busy. You're always doing something. You're always working out. You're always getting treatment. You're always in study hall. You're always around these people. Walter Payton couldn't figure out what to do when he retired. Remember Pedro? He became a race car driver. He became some other things. Then he tried competitive like cycling.
I didn't know he became a race car driver.
Oh yeah, he tried to do race car driver. He tried to get into everything because he couldn't.
Oh no, that was the story. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, he couldn't hold still. He couldn't hold still. Adrian Peterson reminds me of that. That's why he never officially retired until this year.
I thought he was going to get into Hollywood.
No, he tried to become a real race car driver. He raced a couple of races. I don't know, some low level, but he tried. Yeah. And that's what Adrian Peterson reminded me of. For me, it isn't a falling from grace with Adrian Peterson. It's just a guy he's like Frank Gore. Frank Gore's that same way. He's done it so long. He's like, I'm an athlete. This is what I do, right? Like Barry Bonds, when he got into cycling after he retired from baseball, it was funny. He would choose a sport that has the most doping issues outside of baseball. But for Le'Veon Bell, it's trying to make some money, man.
Who y'all got in this fight? Pedro, who you got in this fight? You got AP or you got Le'Veon Bell?
Well, there's a legend about AP hands, so he's got strong hands. So I would have to go with AP.
I'm gonna go AP too because he's good at beating his kid, and Le'Veon Bell is younger than him. So I feel like that's gonna come back to him. He's gonna throw a couple, and and then get in that Ike Turner mode and just really lay it on him.
Don't you know, man? I'll beat you like you're one of my bitches.
Slap me around and call me Susan.
I warned you, Susan.